Hi all, welcome to the channel Cloud Knowledge. Today in this video we will study about Flatten transformation in mapping data flow activity of Azure Data Factory. So for this purpose, let's first go to the official documentation page of Flatten transformation by Microsoft. So here is the page where we have the documentation in place, and it states that use the Flatten transformation to take array values inside hierarchical structures such as JSON and unroll them into individual rows. This process is known as denormalization. So here we will take the input data set as JSON and we will unroll them into individual rows. Okay, and this process is known as denormalization. So in order to understand the statement of Flatten transformation, I have created sample input and output data set here. Okay, and we will demonstrate the same through ADF. So let's first see the input data set, which is a JSON. So it states that it will take the array values such as JSON. So here you can see the JSON structure data set is here, which contains the different columns or the values: the ISBN number, author, first name, last name, editor, last name, first name, title, category. So here you can see by the data that it is concerning about a book. Okay, so the book is having a title, it belongs to the category non-fiction, lifestyle, then it has an editor and an author. So here you can see that the category is an array. Okay, it is of type non-fiction as well as lifestyle. Okay, and similarly there is another book, okay, which has an author name, editor name, title, and the category. Again, the category is of array type. So what we will accomplish through the Flatten transformation is that we will take this JSON as an input and we will convert it into individual rows. Okay, so this is the statement which is copied from the official page, and the output data set we want is like this. So the columns placement can be anything you desire, but this would be the ultimate output. You can place the author first name, last name as the first two columns, then the editor first name, last name, ISBN number, category, and title. Okay, so here you can see that for the same book the category was of two types, okay, non-fiction as well as lifestyle. So there will be two different rows for this, and the author first name, last name will be the same, ISBN number will be the same, and the title will be the same. Only the category differentiates, so it will create two different rows. Similarly for the second book, which is this the Ichabod, for this also there will be two different rows with the data of the category, a fairy tale as well as children, which will differentiate it and make it into two different rows. Okay, so here we are converting the JSON into the individual rows in the form of this tabular structure. Okay, so now we'll accomplish the same using this Flatten transformation in ADF. So let's go back to the ADF. In the author tab we'll go. We'll create a pipeline, a new pipeline. Let's name it as Flatten pipeline. Okay, we'll have this data flow activity, and the data flow activity as data flow Flatten. Okay, and then what we'll do is that we'll connect to the sources. So as displayed here, the source is JSON. So I have this JSON in my storage account in the ADF container inside the input folder as flatten input.json. So let's open it. We'll view the data over here. Okay, so it has the same data. Okay, it is of JSON type, so we can see the same book level data present here, which will be our input. So it's in the storage account. So let's first connect to the source. So let's create the source. The data set will connect to the storage account, which is ADLS Gen 2. Click on ADLS Gen 2. It is of type JSON. So here is the JSON. We'll click on here, continue. Let's name it as JSON for Flatten. Link service is already in place. We'll browse to the file location. It's inside area container, inside input folder, and the name is flatten input.json. Click on OK. Import schema, none. OK. Okay. So this is done. And since the data flow debug option is already enabled from before, we can preview the data also. So let's go to the data preview and refresh it. Let's wait for the cluster to fetch the data. So here it is saying malformed records are detected in the schema. Okay, so why this is coming is we have some settings at the source level for the JSON input. Okay, so here you can see it is an array of documents. It is not a single document. We have one set of book and then another set of book, and both are present in the same JSON documents, and it is then having this braces, the square braces, which signifies it is an array of document. Okay, so we'll go back in the source options. There are different settings. So here at the bottom you will see this JSON settings. So click on here. Then it is by default selected as document per line. We have to make it as array of documents, and then we'll go to the projection, and since the projection is not imported, we will import the projection. So click on importing projections. So here you can see it is importing the projection. Let's wait for a few seconds. Yeah, so the projection appeared here. So the author is of type complex, category is again like the string, editor is complex, ISBN string, title is string. So the column names are displayed here and the corresponding types. Okay, it has auto detected. So whenever you have imported this JSON, make sure in the source options you have the JSON settings correctly selected over here. Then in the projection tab, you have to import the projection, and then we can go directly and preview the data over here in the data preview. So again, click on refresh. So now after refreshing, the data appears. All the columns are displayed over here. So now let's name the source as source of flatten transformation. So now let's add the flatten transformation, which comes under the formatters section. So click on flatten. Okay, let's name this as flatten the data. Okay, incoming stream is okay. Unroll by and unrolled root. Okay, these are the two important properties. So unroll by, click on here. If you hover, it will say choose the array in your data to flatten. So in our input data, what is the array? We have already seen that these are having specific values: ISBN, author, editor, title. Only the category is having an array, a separate array, and in the JSON the array is displayed as with the help of this square braces. Okay, so we have the array for the category, and if you click here in the drop down, you will only see the option enabled for category. Okay, rest of the options are disabled because they are not of type array. So you can see the square braces are for category and it is enabled. So we have to select the category. Okay, now unroll root. This we will not apply because we are not going to apply any level of the hierarchy because it is just single level. This will be used when we are having a big document with multiple level hierarchy. Okay, so we'll leave it as is. Now we'll have the different input columns and the mappings created over here in the output. So as per our requirement, we want the author first name, author last name. Okay, so here we can select from the drop down author first name, and we can name it as author first name. Okay, then we want another fixed mapping as author last name, so we'll name it as author last name. Then we want editor first name, editor last name. So we do not want the category we want it here, so we'll place it over it, make it down, and we'll make the editor name now. So editor first name, sorry, we selected the wrong one, it should be so we have to select the editor first name. Okay, so editor first name, editor first name, editor last name. Then comes fixed mapping, and here editor last name, Then we have ISBN, category and title. ISBN is already here. Category and title, we just need to place it below ISBN. Okay, now the mapping looks okay. The input column from the flatten and what we want it in the output data set. So source flatten column and name it as this. Okay, since it was having two, so author dot first name will be author first name, author dot last name, it will be author last name. Okay, so this is done. The category is having two types, so here it is this array of category, which we will name it as category only as the final name. Okay, so this is done. We'll go to the data preview and we'll click on refresh. Okay, so here we can see author first name, last name, editor first name, last name, ISBN, category and title all appeared for the same book. There are two entries, non-fiction, lifestyle, fairy tale and children, as expected here. Same. Now what we will do, we will attach the sync. So we want the data to be added into the target. So sync of flatten, we will name the output stream name, input is this, and we want the data to be landed into a CSV file. So we'll make the connection to the storage account, then into a delimited text. Let's name it as flatten output. Link service is already there in place. We'll have the first row as header. We'll browse the file. This time we want the output into the output folder. Click OK. OK. And then in the settings, the next tab over here, we'll name the file as output to single file, which will enable this single partition, and output to single file name here. So the name will be flatten output dot CSV, flatten output dot CSV. Next, we'll go to the data preview and click on refresh to see the output, which will be going to appear in our target CSV. This looks okay. Now we'll validate the mapping. This is validated. We'll go to the pipeline. We'll run the debug run and we'll wait for the debug run to get completed. So here the debug run is in progress. We'll wait for its completion. So this is completed. Now we will go to the output location inside the storage account. The file name is flatten output.csv. This is generated. We'll click on it. We'll click on edit. And here you can see the same columns are appearing here in the form of rows. So we have accomplished the task of taking the array values from JSON and converting them into individual rows, and in a way we are denormalizing the data. So if we'll preview it, we can see the details displaying over here. Okay, I hope this simple example has given you a basic understanding of the Flatten transformation in PDF. So thank you for watching the video, and any doubts, do let me know in comments. I'll be happy to answer. Happy learning to all. Bye bye.